I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. Come on in, everybody. We are here to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, episode 3. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Y'all, this was cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the chat. Let me get myself up. Welcome to the chat. Please and thank you. If you can hear the sound of my voice, just to make sure that y'all are able to hear me, go ahead and put your city, your state, your country, your island, your continent, wherever you are from, into the chat real quick. That way I know that y'all can hear what I'm saying. Okay. What's up, Sherelle? Hey, Lies, More Lies. What's up, Clone in the house? Hey, if you see anybody with a rich, like my sister, Clone in the house, we got the same mama, same daddy. Going ahead and make sure y'all just, pay attention to the chat. I don't care if we have different opinions, just keep it respectful, child. So welcome, Clone. I appreciate you volunteering your time. What's up, Latrice from Phoenix, Arizona? What's up, Gloria from St. Louis? How are you? What is up, Avery? New Jersey is in the house. Nice to have you. What's up, Seattle? Nice to have you. Child, we got a lot to talk about. What's up, Indianapolis? Barbados. Hey. Okay, y'all, listen. First off, there was no Destiny and no Martell in this episode. And I have to say, it probably was the best episode of the season so damn far. What's up, Memphis? Nice to have you. You can't wait to hear my opinion. Good, okay, because I got plenty. It was the best episode of the season so far. No Martell, no Destiny. Yeah, and it actually flowed in a way that seemed truthful. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit the like button, or not the like button. Yes, hit the like button too, but take the poll at the top of the page. Take the poll at the top of the page. What did y'all think? I'm giving this episode a 10 out of 10. For whatever reason, Martell and Destiny has slowed the episodes down, those first two. This one was like bam, 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 just information all day. Clone said agreed. Okay, come on in. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, share the video, please, and thank you. Become a subscriber if you are not already. We are talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is episode 3 of the season. A lot of people have been asking, what will the show be about without Melody? What are they going to talk about? Well, baby, they done went back, okay? They literally tried to give their family problems. And it is actually something I believe because of the shit that I have seen in the past. So Maurice got his ass handed to him this episode, in my opinion. Maurice got his ass handed to you. Anybody who is a parent, even if you're not a parent, child, if you have parents, you know there comes a time where you have to have that heart-to-heart, where either your kids is going to say some shit to you that you was hoping they wouldn't remember, or, you know what I'm saying? It's going to shock you that, this is how you know that the kids have become smart enough, okay? Well, that happened in this episode. And I have to give it to him for giving us a real solid issue that we can sink our teeth into, okay? What else y'all got to talk about? That was my take. They took it back. They sure did. And I was kind of curious because, like I said, the first 2 episodes, I was like, well, what are they going to do with Kimmy and Maurice? Because they tied up that little alcohol thing. And I was like, okay, well, it's not going to be this. But yeah, it looks like we're about to get something else, okay? Let's see. I saw the clip of the convo, and it was more authentic. Great conversation for TV. Reminded me of the Love and Marriage Detroit cast convos. Okay. cool. Kimmy's ass should have gotten handed to her. Well, this opens the door for Kimmy because I was like, this can't end things for Kimmy. So if they do it right, hopefully we're going to see a little more conversation about Kimmy and her participation in that bullshit. Because this is some of the stuff we've all been talking about. And child, y'all know me. I remember a whole lot of shit. So we're about to get into it. We're about to get into it, okay? So first up, child, it picked up exactly where it left off. Ken and Marquez, okay? Listen, all I can tell you, because they did get into it, you can tell there was a tussle, but they did cut the scene, and you just heard boom, 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 boom. Like you just heard that, okay? It sounded like Ken might have put boots on the ground or boots on Marquez's ass, clearly. Marquez, when they finally do see Marquez back on screen, he is very upset, tears streaming down his face. He knocks down a lamp, kicks that shit over. His son is coming down the stairs. He's trying to help out, child. Like, oh my God, what's going on? You could tell he was trying to console his father, try to grab his arm. Marquez was so pissed, he yanks his arm for his son, walks out the door. But before he leaves, child, he turned around to them cameras. He said, y'all got me fucked up. And then he slams the door closed, okay? His son runs outside after him, and that's how it ends. You could tell that it was, I mean, just from the camera people, you could tell from the camera people, because one cameraman like literally pulled back like, whoa, what, you know, that's how quick that shit went down. Hold on. Let's see. Yes, bring it. Okay, I'm doing that. Ken, keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, so Ken clearly lost complete control. And Marquez is no match for Ken. We all know that, okay? Bottom line is, Ken definitely laid his hands on him. But by the time Marquez, I said Martell, by the time Marquez is back on camera, you can tell that it was just, he looked like an 8-year-old. You know how you see an 8-year-old kid get into a fight on the playground, and they start doing this, like yanking themselves and walking? It was that type of shit. It was actually kind of heartbreaking, and it was more heartbreaking because you saw the son come down to, you know, take care of his father, which we've seen him do pretty much every episode that his son is there. The son is always pulling Marquez off or trying to console Marquez or help him, you know, connect to what's going on around him. But either way, when he is in confessional, when Ken is in confessional, he basically says that he was trying to be super savior. That's how he says it. I was trying to be super savior. Hey, everybody, welcome to the chat. Hit the like button and share the video, please, and thank you. And so, yeah, that's how we ended it. I was just trying to be super savior. Clearly, that isn't going to work. Trisha said, I tried to tell you, kind of thing. And that is how it ended, okay? Come on in. Let me see what y'all got to say. The children shouldn't have been a part of that mess. Shame on Ken, Trisha, and Marquez and production. Listen, I can't tell y'all how many times I've seen my mama fight, her sisters, aunties, uncles fight, and there was no cameras at all. And we saw quite a bit. Okay? There was always some shit going down. Sometimes that's just how it is. I mean, you know, people, we have to also remember, even though the shit ain't right, and it's not, I'm not saying that it should happen, because it definitely should not. But that does happen in real life. I don't like people that are 3 times bigger than you trying to fight someone. He didn't have that energy from Martell. I don't care for Marquez either. Just calling it per scene. I understand. I think that sometimes we also have to pay attention to the fact that when you come into somebody's house, you have to respect the house. You got to make sure that you're not saying dumb shit that's going to trigger something, even if your kids are upstairs. Because literally those first 2 episodes, that's what was happening. And I know some people did not see that, But there was things that was being said that was very triggering. It was very triggering, and you can't take that away from each other either. Those are the type of moments where you can say there's enough blame to go around, and people really has to be mindful. You got to be mindful of how you handle yourself, because you can get clocked. It sounds like he truly cares for his father. I think he does love his father. I think he loves his mama too. But Marquez and Trisha have some history that they need to figure out. They do. They need to figure it out. And this is what I meant when I said the Britt Kenya situation. Okay. She likes them fighting. Well, we're going to get to it because Ken is going to try to explain things, and then Ken is going to get his ass handed to him. They didn't put hands on him, but he definitely got his ass handed to him in this episode. Okay, I'm tired of the throuple. Anyway, that's basically how it went down. Moving on, child. Okay. So the next scene, we are with Kimmy and Maurice at Kimmy's house. I thought Kimmy sold her house. I heard that anyway. It looks like they're in the same exact house to me. So I'm not sure. That was something that came out a little, I don't know, I think last year sometime. But they definitely filmed in the house that we were used to. At least I think so. Anyway, Kimmy is scheduling a girls' night out. She's given the phone calls to everybody, all the ladies on the cast. And then she says that she's about to have a date night with her husband. And Maurice is looking for a little alcohol. He's at least implying, oh, is there something else in these cups? And Kimmy says, no, nothing but tea. And I was like, okay, because y'all remember last season when Tisha went over to Marcel and said, you need to talk to your brother about all the drinking he's doing. Also, we know he got arrested for drinking and driving, was thrown in the pokey, despite the fact that it might have got kicked out on a technicality. But it sounds like he has some drinking problems. Actually, Kimmy and Maurice had that question, had that conversation where she asked him, is there something I need to know? Because you like to pour your sorrows into a bottle of the liquor. And he was like, there's nothing that you and I can talk about. That's how he put it. But she lets him know ain't shit in that cup except for tea. Okay, just in case you thought. And he actually looked a little disappointed, but he didn't go out of his way to say anything. Okay, let's see. Anyway, then they started talking about Jaylen. Basically, Kimmy says, listen, I was talking to Jaylen about the family business because I guess whatever they got going on. Maurice has asked that Kimmy and Jaylen and Monster participate in it. And she said, my son got some reservations about me participating in it, but him too. He doesn't like the idea too much. And Maurice is like, why not? She said, well, he used words like, you're a dictator. Okay, that's number one. You're a dictator. You come in telling people what to do, but you don't like to get your own hands dirty. And all of that shit is a problem at the end of the day. Now, this isn't the first time Maurice has heard this. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, in season 1, didn't Maurice's sister say something similar? What's his sister name? Is it Minnie or something like that? She was like the receptionist at the front desk. And I remember her saying, I'm the only one who will work for Maurice. Like nobody in the family fools with Maurice when it comes to the job. Okay. Come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anyway, she said at the end of the day, he has some problems with coming in to work for you. And he feels he has some concerns for me as well. And then she went on to say, and then he said some other things, because I was trying to get to the bottom of why he felt this way. And she said that he doesn't see you as a father figure. He kind of considers you the homie. And even in saying you're the homie, he's really saying he doesn't respect your ass at all. Okay. He's not going to bring anything to you where he is seeking advice or direction on anything. Okay. You're the friend he doesn't fuck with. That's what it was giving to me. And then he also said he looks at Marceau He looks at Marceau as a father figure child. This floored Maurice. Maybe she should have put a little vodka in that tea. Because, baby, when I tell you, he was like, are you seriously putting this shit on camera? Oh my God. I felt uncomfortable for him. Okay. MLK speeches gone wrong. Okay. Stop sitting on the side telling motherfuckers what to do when you can't follow directions on your own, sir. You are giving people marching orders when you don't know how to do things. But anyway, that was enough for me. And Kimmy was saying it, and I kid you not, she was doing it in a way where she was smiling and acting like, I'm just going to get it out. But at the end of the day, he said, he don't consider you a father figure. I was like, bitch, not the smile. That's the type of shit where you be like, listen, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Hold on, y'all. Okay. Sorry about that. What do y'all got to say? Ouch. You know that stung. Baby, did it not? I was cracking up. I was like, Kimmy told him that the way the doctor tells you you have a terminal illness. You know what I'm saying? Can I talk to you? It was all matter of fact, but he kept a smile. We're going to do everything we can to get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bitch, no, she didn't turn on the nursing skill to tell him that. Anyway, she said all of it. Okay. Then by the time it was all over, Maurice basically just says, I'm going to talk to Jaylen, because what else can you do other than say, I'm going to talk to Jaylen? What else? Let's see. It needed to be said, but it was a day late. It was right on time for me, child. I was like, as long as they are talking about their shit, okay, why haven't production never addressed Maurice's ass until now? I don't know. It was still a good moment, but that's not all. It gets even better. But it was cold as fuck. It was. You're absolutely right about that. Okay, that's a real Aquarius. Okay, it's Kimmy and Aquarius. They don't care. They just say it. Even if it's F your feelings in the moment, you're going to deal with it. Okay, that's what it was giving. And I don't know, because y'all know when I pay attention to the scene, I'm looking at body language and smiles. I actually watched the scene back and just closed my eyes so I could hear how Kimmy was sing-songing. Well, Maurice feels, I was like, bitch, you are playing me right now. This is crazy. But anyway, moving on to the next scene. Okay, we are at the Fletchers house. Now, they are really trying to set the Fletchers up to be like the pinnacle couple. Okay, they show that in the Fletchers bio, they are, I think it's Nell Fletcher's bio, she got a picture of her and Chris, and she describes herself as parents, grandparents, and entrepreneurs. They talk a little bit about the businesses that they currently hold: a real estate business, daycare business, and a cleaning business. And Nell Fletcher saying, listen, I need you to help me out with this damn daycare. There's some shit that needs to be fixed over here. Please get this done so that I can get the accreditations that I need. The more accreditations I have, if I can get my 4 stars, then the more money I can get in whatever, I guess, government assistance is what she's looking for. But Chris is like, oh, hell yeah, we need that. We need that money. So yeah, I'll help out however I can. So anyway, just further proof that Nell Fletcher is the breadwinner in that family. Okay, don't come for me. I'm telling you right now, that's what it was given. Okay, they are looking for that government check to help with whatever is going on with the business. And that ain't bad. That's not bad. She still has a business going. But when I had called Nell Fletcher the breadwinner before, the amount of people that came for me was crazy. But anyways, Nell Fletcher lets Chris know that she hasn't been talking to the girls. She hasn't talked to anybody. She doesn't know where she stands with the group. She feels like she might have been squeezed the fuck out. Okay. Destiny had told her that she didn't fool with her. I guess based on her, still trying to be a friend, still trying to be a friend to to Sunny. I forgot her name. A friend to Sunny, and she said Destiny made it clear she didn't want to fool with me because of that. Nell Fletcher made it clear on the reunion stage that she didn't want to fuck with Destiny after everything Destiny had did on the season 9 reunion stage. That was her words. She actually turned her back to Destiny and said, I used to think that I wanted you to be my daughter-in-law, but not anymore. Okay, you done said some shit and done some shit that I didn't think you were capable of. Now that I know, bitch, no. There can only be one top dog in this family, and it's moi, not you. Okay, so she picked her out of that. And she said at the end of the day, she just doesn't know what's going on. Basically, Destiny has double standards that she does not hold for herself. She has standards that she does not hold for herself because she's asking her not to be friends with other people. But anyway, she said she has been invited to this group and she's looking forward to seeing where she stands. Chris gives her a little advice like, I'm glad that the girls gave you a call, just play it by ear, see how things feel. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that was cool too, just because I was like, that's true. We all know that these people don't hang out with each other in real life. So let's see if y'all are going to come in and act like y'all are ready-made friends or if y'all going to play this for real. Because I don't think that Tisha or Kimmy fool with Nell Fletcher. And clearly Destiny her got some problems as well. So that's how that scene ended. You can tell by how Nell talks. Hold on. You can tell by how Nell talks that she's the breadwinner. And Chris kind of seems like he watches his actions and words around her. Right. Because Chris got to keep them damn curls perfectly coiffed. Okay. Chris has a standing hair appointment. Chris keeps a standing hair appointment every Friday. And I don't mean at the barbershop either. He sits under a dryer. Do you hear me? He has one of them barber tapes that lays down his edges, and he goes into the hairdresser to get his hair done. And Nell Fletcher pays for that. Let's face it. Okay. Come on in, everybody. Welcome. Hit the like button, share the video. Tracy said that Reese has never, ever been a part-time father either. Not even to his one and only son. Tracy, clock it. And once he moved him in, he damn sure wasn't going to be a full-time. Baby, look, that's a part of my notes, Tracy. I'm going to get there because you're right. We're not going to forget. That's why I said, bitch, they took this back to season 1. They are literally working out those old school problems. Okay. Let's see. I have never wanted to be friends with anyone so bad. Anyway, I don't know what I said, but for some reason, y'all laughing y'all ass off. I'll have to go back and listen. Anyway, what else? Oh, that you talking about me saying that Chris goes to the hairdresser. Yeah. When I saw Chris's curls, baby, I said, no, he has a standing appointment. He has a standing appointment underneath that dryer. Okay. Moving on. All of the ladies, they meet up for dinner. Everybody except for Destiny. Destiny doesn't show up. I think they said that she was at the tickety talk. But anyway, Kimmy is talking to Nell. Y'all know Kimmy and Nell. I think that was on the girls' trip. Kimmy was about to break her foot off in Nell Fletcher's ass when Nell came out there and told her, be happy with whatever room you got, right? She was like, bitch, get out of this. We don't need your damn help. And I think Tisha had to pull her off of her. So Kimmy's at the table talking to the lady. She said, Nell, I basically letting her know that she was a little thirsty for the phone call. At least that's what it sounded like to me. She said, when I called Nell Fletcher, she was like, oh my God, I'm so happy you called me and all that stuff. And she went, if I would have known I would have gotten that type of reception, I would have called you sooner. So Nell Fletcher is like, yeah, I was real happy that y'all called. I like hanging out with the girls kind of thing. Anyway, I was like, Kimmy was really trying to let you know that she's top dog here. Okay, that was my feelings. Anyway, they move on. They ended up talking to each other. They said that they all need to grow their relationships. That was important. We all need to grow our relationships. For whatever reason, we really don't talk to each other that much. But if we want, this is a way of to not break the fourth wall. If we want things to work out between us, we are going to have to talk to each other a little more. Okay? Y'all still talking about Chris these comments are coming up so delayed for me. You sound just like Nell Fletcher. Child, y'all know Nell sound like she smokes a pack of Newports an hour. Every hour. Okay. But they started off by saying that, and then they start sharing what was going on in their lives. Trish tells everybody about the fight that happened between her, Marquez, and Ken. Kimmy tells the ladies that, listen, her grown-ass son, who I do believe has a baby of his own, she said him and Maurice is basically falling out because he said he don't see Maurice as a father figure. And then Kimmy said, did y'all clock this? Then Kimmy said, actually, he sees Marceau as more of a father figure. To which Tisha is like, bitch, I'm trying to get Marceau to be a father figure to my motherfucking kids. So why is he playing a father figure to Jaylen? Tisha had a whole speech that went from the table to confessional. Like, father figure, listen, Kimmy got to make sure that she tells Jaylen that Maurice is his father, not my husband. Baby, that shit took me out. It was great. It was great. Do you hear me? Anyway, I don't know if Tisha liked that much. Okay, did you see that? Marceau likes everybody but Tisha. Did you not see Tisha try to explain? Listen, Jaylen and Kimmy have been together forever. When Maurice came into that family, it was up to Kimmy to, really show Jaylen that Maurice was the father, not my husband. Girl, anyway. I didn't know if anybody saw it. I have been listening to some people. Yes, it was priceless. It was priceless. But anyway, after they went from there, what happened? After Tisha gave her little talk, then we had Nell Fletcher talking about how she's a new grandmother. She has 2 new grandbabies in the family. And this was Tisha's time to shine again, okay? After giving that big speech, Tisha said, listen, child, I ain't gonna lie. I really thought that you was playing Destiny, knowing that Lance had another lady and a baby on the way. And Nell Fletcher's like, well, I'm not, I don't have anything to do with that. Tisha said, it kind of looked like you did, because I thought you was rooting for Destiny and Lance to be together. So it seemed real odd that this baby just pops up out of nowhere. Well, listen, I'm getting too excited just talking about it. Let's see. Marceau is fatherly in the workplace. You think so? And giving his Dr. Martin Luther King speech. Nell Fletcher was so pissed that Tisha came for her and basically said, listen, bitch, you a fake ass friend. You was a fake ass friend to Destiny. And as the mama, if you were who you said you were in that relationship, you should have at least told Lance that he was wrong for stringing Destiny along. Or you should have came to Destiny and said, listen, I got a no good son right now. You know what I'm saying? I got a son who's definitely with another woman. And that is all there is. You can't act like you didn't know that that lady was pregnant, that he kept it a secret until the birth, because that's not the type of children you raise. Your kids ask for help from you every step of the motherfucking way. We all know this, okay? So you got to read between the lines, baby. At the end of the day, you can't say you didn't know that Lance had a baby or was with another woman at the same time he was messing on Destiny, okay? That's what it was giving to me. Tisha got it out for Destiny. I don't know if Destiny really had another event or if she just didn't want to mess with Nell Fletcher in the moment. Nell Fletcher found that offensive, though. Okay, Nell Fletcher found that offensive and said, "Listen, bitch, don't you come for me and my family." I don't know what you mean by that, but let's get down to the nit and the grit. Okay, how did you and Kimmy feel about what Martell did? Okay, when he brought that woman out there and said that used to be Marceau's mistress. This was the nastiest, nicest conversation I had ever seen. Now, they all said at the table, child, they were all like, well, personally, I thought it was some bullshit. I thought it was some bullshit. I truly didn't understand why or what route Martell was taking. I don't even think Nell Fletcher said, I thought it was bullshit. Nell Fletcher just kind of sat back and was like, I'm going to let you hoes talk. Okay? Because whatever said was said was said. At the end of the day, Tisha said, me and my husband saw the shit and we kept it moving. And she then said, however, everything that I said on Carlos King's platform about Martell liking boys, I stand on that. Shots fired. Okay? Everything I said about Martell, I stand on. That shit that he brought on with his baby mama, that was bullshit, and we didn't think another thought about it. Okay? I was floored. Then, after that was said, Tisha was like, well, listen, hold on. Who told her that? After that was said, Tisha said, let's make a pact. Let's make a pact. Right now, why don't we just vow to bring whatever we have with each other, any type of issues we have with each other, to each other and not gossip about each other outside of things, because I don't know if I trust Nell Fletcher. She says that both in confessional and damn near at the table. After Nell Fletcher thought she was getting her big one off, Tisha said, I don't even fuck with Nell. I don't trust her. And it is what it is. But if you got a problem with me, Nell, because I've heard all kinds of things about your husband on the streets, and what she really wanted to say was, if I'm not mistaken, Chris was cheating 5 minutes ago. Okay? That's what everybody's been saying. Chris was cheating 5 minutes ago. I heard about it, but that doesn't mean I have to open my mouth and speak on everything that you got going on in your house. What you and Chris have going on is you and Chris's business. When did Tisha get balls? She has them now. When it comes to the Fletchers, Fletcher lied at the end. Oh, we'll find out what happened. Anyway, when Tisha says that, that's when Kimmy comes through and says, yeah, Nell, just, for reference. We were all wondering why Chris would make that comment about Maurice and Marceau making women sign NDAs. Where the fuck did that come from? That was dirty work for your husband to be saying that outside of the group. And then she said Maurice was really hurt because he's never said anything about you and Fletcher's marriage. In other words, we know shit about your marriage too, but she was being, again, so patient and smiling. She was doing that nurse thing. We don't say anything about your marriage. In fact, we've always spoke about you or spoke highly about you. So for Fletcher to be as easy as he was with throwing my husband under the bus, with throwing Marceau under the bus, I just want you to know that we see each other. Okay? At this point, we see each other. Ciao. Anyway, Nell Fletcher said, I don't know anything about an NDA. And even though I love my husband and I support him, I wasn't there when he said that. So I don't really know what he was talking about. Okay. I'm not sure why he said that. I support my husband, but that's on him. Okay. Don't look at me and think that. Bitch, what are you? Okay. Is it you and Fletcher? Are y'all a team or nah? Oh my goodness. The way she just was like trying to back out of that again, even though it was, yeah, you could call it passive aggressive, child. Even though it was passive aggressive, it was still, they put the shit on the table. And all you can do is hope that they are serious about putting the information on the table, which they did. This is why I said I'm giving this episode a 10, because all the stuff that, you sit in your head when you're watching this shit, you're hoping it comes out. Anyway, Trisha ends up inviting everybody to her birthday party, and there wasn't a whole lot that went on at the birthday party, but She invited everybody to the birthday party and they all accepted. Okay. Let's see. Tisha's not as slow as we think. LOL. Therapy helped it look like. Tisha can't tell me nothing if she's an OG, but she has to bring her mama on the show to ask Marceau a question that she could have asked. Okay. Tisha said, no, not this go round. I'm sick of y'all. Okay. Listen, she did. This time, Tisha didn't cry. She just smiled and she was slick about it. And not only was she slick about it at the table, she went right into confessional and said, I bet not hear Nell say anything else about my husband and my fucking marriage, knowing that the streets are hot when it comes to Chris Fletcher. I know things. I went, no, she's not doing this on camera. So this is where all this shit is about to happen. Anyway, moving on. Now let's talk about Maurice and Jaylen. Maurice and Jaylen, okay? Maurice, come to the front. Hold on, child. I had to put these hands up. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, Maurice. You got your ass handed to you by Jaylen. Jaylen came with it. Now, I'm not going to say Jaylen wasn't nervous, okay? But he got it out. He got out everything he needed to say, okay? So the last time that we saw Jaylen on screen, I think the last time we saw Jaylen on screen was at Martell's wine event, where he tells everybody, or he told Marceau anyway, I really don't know what to think about your brother right now because my mama's going through cancer treatments and I can't get a hold of her. And when I call his phone 11 times a day, he doesn't fucking answer the phone. And I am worried out of my mind, sick about my mama. I go over to the house, they're not there. I don't know what's going on. And even then, when he was saying that, I was like, who does that? Who does that when they know their mama's going through something? Maurice had a responsibility to tell Jaylen what was happening. You know what? She went to treatment. We just brought her home. This is the type of shit you do. When you're driving there, I got your mom in the car. We're going to get the treatment. When she's in the car, I'm taking your mama home. When you get her into the bed, your mama's sleeping. That's what you do. Text it, call it something. But you don't leave that boy hanging. And when that scene happened, I was shooketh. Okay? I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, he ends up telling, that wasn't the only scene either. There was another scene that happened that I thought Jaylen told Maurice something. I think it was the scene where right after that boys picture came out, the boys pic with Martell, Marceau, Maurice, the one that Ariane took, they went over to Jaylen's house to talk to him about it. And I remember Jaylen taking Kimmy to the side and saying, are you okay? I don't fuck with him. I don't care about him, but are you okay? That was the other scene. And I was like, Jaylen is growing up. He don't care about Maurice. Maurice was sitting here like, is there anything you have to ask me? He said, no, I don't care. Okay, I'm worried about my mama. That's it. That's all. Okay, just like a son would do in real life. Okay, that was all he gave us on screen. Now he's here and he's letting him know, listen, dude, you were playing the wicked stepdaddy when I was little, because we all remember when Kimmy came to Maurice, when she could barely breathe, when she was getting those cancer treatments and was like, why don't you make Maurice, or why don't you make MJ wash dishes? What do they call him? Monster? Why don't you make Monster wash dishes or clean the house or chores, right? I feel like I'm doing too much and I'm sick. I'm coming down. He likes to cook. I'm trying to help him cook. You should make him do certain things. And what was his response? Maurice said to her, no, because I don't want him to get used to doing shit like that, because that's not what he's going to be doing when he's an adult on the outside, which was one of the raggediest, lousiest effing remarks you could make. And we all remember that shit. Well, now Jaylen's saying, bitch, you use me as your whipping boy, okay? Your son that you love more than me, clearly. Don't say you loved us equally. I expect you to love your son more. What's up? Hey, Marcella. Look, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. You love your son more than me, and I don't even give two shits about that because that's life. That's nature, of course. But the way you would make me do shit and your son did nothing at all. Okay, your son couldn't get his hands dirty, but I could. Your son couldn't wash the dishes, but I could. Your son couldn't sweep the floor from the broken glass that he did, but I could. And Maurice, I don't think Maurice was ready. I swear to God, I don't think Maurice was ready. At first, when they're playing pool, there's one point in the scene where Maurice holds his damn his cue stick, like he was trying to figure out, should I swing it now or later? That was funny. Anyway, it was taking a minute because while Jaylen is saying this, Jaylen's eyes kept opening big and closing, opening big and closing. I was like, Jaylen got crazy eyes. Jaylen, I feel like Jaylen was nervous, but he just had to get it off his chest. And basically he was letting him know, I remember, I know what you were doing. I know what you were doing. And that's hard. That's hard to have come back at you. You know what I'm saying? That was an awesome scene. Oh my God. I love shit like this. I do. I love it. I love it. Let's see what else y'all got to say. You said, I'm not mad at Maurice no more. He hasn't changed. I'm not mad at Maurice anymore. He hasn't changed. And Kimmy told them, okay. Kimmy has some responsibility. Okay, let's talk about it. We're going to get to it because we act like this doesn't happen, but y'all know this type of shit happens all the time. Kimmy has come to Maurice time and time again saying things like, you want me to help Monster. I hate calling him Monster. You want me to help with Monster when it comes to babysitting and picking him up from school and the chores and shit, but you never want me to participate in the decision making that affects me too. Like all of those things, to know that it went even deeper than that. I mean, we could have imagined it, but it was great to see that they brought it to screen. They brought it to screen. And even though the conversation, it wasn't, bitch, I hate you. He basically just said, I don't look at you as my father. I don't look at you as a father figure either. And that has to hurt because Jaylen was a child when he showed up in that house. He was a child. And so for him to say that, for him to say, not only do I feel that way, I know you treated me differently. I know you treated me differently. And I know that you had all these high aspirations for Monster and who he was supposed to be. Okay. Monster was a real life Prince Akeem. Okay. Everybody had to throw out the rose petals before, Monster got up in the morning and walked downstairs for breakfast. He basically just said, I know you did it that way. And I want you to know that I know you did it that way. And he said, I got reservations about working with you. I know you say this is a family business, but I don't really feel like your family. Thank you, Marcella. I don't really feel like your family. And, shit, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I'm a grown man because I think he has a child of his own. I'm a grown man. It is what it is. But I got some reservations because I know who the Scots are. That's a quote. I know who the Scots are, is what this young man said. And he said, but not just Marceau, who you guys are in business, because y'all love to throw people into situations and say, figure it out. Okay. Knowing that we need direction. You want us to figure it out. And then when we fuck up and make mistakes, it's our fault. He said, but I know who you guys are. But more so than Marceau, it's you that I got the problem with. It's you that I'm concerned about when you say you want me to be a part of this family business. Maurice didn't know what to say. Now, in confessional, Maurice wears this ugly ass burnt orange suit with the same color, literally matching shirt anti. I've never seen anything that ugly in my goddamn life. I don't know where he bought that suit, but please don't even give it away because I don't want anybody else to have to wear it. Burn that shit. That was one of the ugliest suits I've ever seen in my life. But in confessional, Maurice doesn't even take real responsibility. He didn't even let that moment humble him. He just said, listen, I heard what he had to say, but you know, he's a good man. And whether he thought it was good or bad, the experience helped shape him to be who he is today. So it can't be that bad. That's how he said it. And I was like, Maurice, it would have taken you 2 seconds to humble yourself and say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Even when he said, I don't think you loved me as much, Maurice didn't say, that's not true. I love you like my son. Maurice said, really? Really? Bitch, Maurice knew how to be a lawyer that day, okay? Maurice act like he stumbles over words and what am I doing wrong? Maurice was giving all these one-word answers and just eyeballs. There were so many eyeball movements in that damn scene, child. I was like, are y'all okay? Dear Lord. Come on through, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Okay? Maurice was scared of Kiowa. It's the same shit he used to say to Kiowa, right? You punking my son. I don't like for you to make him do this, and this. I want him to only, isn't that what Maurice said? He's supposed to wake up, go to school, come home, and do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. There's no structure. There's no nothing. He even told Kimmy, going ahead and now that Jaylen has graduated, he should just be a man and get to go out in the world. And Kimmy said, who the fuck are you? No, he's about to pay this phone bill, this car insurance. Okay. He got shit that he's still responsible for in this house. And there's a curfew. You want to bring girls into the house? You want to stay out all night? Then you got to move into your own house. Anyway, Maurice been going under the radar for too long. Maurice got his ass handed to him. This was one of the best episodes. I swear to God, I loved it. Anyway, after it was all said and done, hold on. Maurice was actually saying that his son was more masculine than Kimmy's son. Therefore, Kimmy's son had to do the housework. Well, he definitely would have put some sort of title on it, right, Erica? Because let's face it, when his wife was sick and literally Kimmy was struggling to breathe, you could see her out of breath when she was speaking and she was trying to explain, this is what we need to do in order to make the house okay for me. I mean, he said no, point blank period. No, that's never going to happen. I'm not going to make my son into what Maurice thinks is a bitch, even in this moment. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I wish that I would have heard some other stuff, but they literally edited it so that it was just enough. Okay. Maurice couldn't wait for Jaylen to finish school and get the hell out. And that's why Monster is a little monster right now. Well, what Jaylen did say in this scene is, number one, he's not working for Marceau anymore. Okay. But Marceau is the person that he goes to for advice or direction if he needs it in life. He also said that he's doing tech now. He's been, applying for other jobs. And it's possible that he may be moving to Colorado because he's lived in Huntsville, I guess, since he was a boy. And he said it's time to go. He's ready to grow all the way up and move out. Okay. That was such a great scene. It really was. I cannot tell y'all how many times I've heard this conversation. So many. And just in my own family, like seeing people grow up. That's the moment. Grow up, okay? Hit the like button, please, and thank you. 428 of y'all are here. Please hit the like button and share the video. Thank you, clone. I appreciate you. Maurice was in the shock zone. Never gonna happen. Well, people told him how he felt about him, okay? And that's all that I cared about. Let's see. Maurice, in many ways, is worse than Martell. He basically said that Maurice was the worst of the brothers. Maurice is the worst of the brothers. And that had to have been really hard on his ears because he does believe that he is on the top. He's at the top of everybody, correct? That's how he handles himself. Maurice should not apologize if he doesn't mean it. I agree with that. I say that all the time. Don't apologize if you don't mean it, and don't force people to do stuff that they're not ready to do, because they'll keep repeating that same bullshit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ooh, you guys are talking and I'm so far behind in these comments. Anyway, let's get to the last scene. Let me make sure I got everything out. It was a great scene. Last scene. Is this the last scene? No. We got 2 more scenes. My bad. Let's talk about Ken, Will, and Chris Fletcher. So look, I guess Ken and Will have some sort of podcast place, someplace where they do their recording called Wicked. And Chris Fletcher was invited in to have some man time, right? They brought in the OG to talk about what's going on in Ken's life, because Ken needs some attention, right? Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. This was the scene where I was like, baby, what? When Chris Fletcher walks into the scene, Chris's hair is so perfect. It is so perfectly curled. You can tell someone took a damn rat tail comb. I wish I had one, and literally curled individually all those curls on his fucking head and set that man under a dryer. And I'm not lying. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Sue me for defamation. You heard me. You are under the dryer, sir. Period. That's all there is to it. But Chris Fletcher comes in with his, designer his designer shirt on. And he sits with Ken's friend, Will. Now, Will has been on the show before, and he's already said out loud, I don't like Trisha. I don't like Trisha. I don't like the fact that you're a simp. He's called him that. At least that's how I heard it. If he didn't, he called him a simp. He said, man, how long you gonna keep your ass in this shit? These problems is crazy. But this was a real conversation. It was a real conversation, and you can tell, because there's certain things that men do when they talk to each other that they were all doing. Number one, Ken was trying to explain himself, and he's explained himself so much that you can tell that he's written it down. He has rehearsed it. He's figured out well, man, why don't you? He's figured out what everything that anybody's going to say to go against him. He's figured it out. He's written it down, and he rehearses it. So when he's sitting there saying, listen, Marquez left. So it was really just the 2 of us and the kids for a very long time. And so we had this relationship where, we didn't have any problems. But now he's back. And the first thing out of Fletcher's mouth is, I really don't care how long y'all were together by yourselves. It was really a long enough time for her to get a divorce if that's what she really wanted, okay? 7 years is a long time to be with somebody that really don't want to be with somebody else, okay? Let's not act like she couldn't have gotten a divorce in that amount of time. All this shit is happening. Every time they want to Ken with a bitch, that's not a good enough excuse, Ken would just pull back like this. And it almost felt like he was shrinking in his seat, okay? He says it again. Him and Will have some sort of, I don't know, philosophical discussion about paint, metaphorical speaking kind of shit. And it was corny as hell. But at the end of it, Ken still lost the argument. Then Chris just said, man, what would you do? He says this to Will after listening to Ken explain it all away. Fletcher was like smirking, like, nigga, nobody's doing all that. He looks at Will and said, what would you do? And Will went, with all this right here, with everything that you see right here, with all the facts right here, I would leave Trisha. And when he says that, you literally saw the breath go out of Ken. He just put his head down and looked down at his lap like, damn, I'm done. That's it. That's it. There is no more. Nobody that you've shared this story with, you've already had this conversation last season with Marceau and Maurice. They told you, bitch, whatever. Okay. And they run over women. You know what I'm saying? Please. You are the woman in this relationship. Now you have a man that really don't know anything about y'all coming in and saying the exact same thing to you, including your bestie that you're in business with. And that takes a lot, but he's already said that to him before. He said it to him again, okay? And this time, he was basically saying, I don't give a shit what sad ass excuse you told for the 1100th time. You do this all the time. You are constantly finding yourself in relationships with women that don't like you the way you like them. And with everything that you said, all the information, when he did that with the hand motion, I said, oh, that's embarrassing. He said, nah, I would still leave Trisha, even with everything you just said to me. Bam. When I tell y'all, Ken got his ass handed to him. They 1-2 punch Ken that entire scene. That entire scene. It was bad. It was horrible. But he got what he got. Okay. It was funny. Like Cassia said, leave married women alone. Leave married women alone. Okay. Find a woman that's just by herself for once. Okay. Anyway, that's what he said, child. Okay. Now we're at the end of the episode. This was the last scene in the episode. The Scotts wanted to have dinner together. And look, they're keeping it cute at the beginning, talking about DEI and other things that's going on in the world. But then things get serious, okay? Marcel actually says, listen, I had a conversation with Jaylen. Apparently, you've asked him to be a part of this family business. And I have to say, me and Jaylen have a lot in common because you were the golden boy. Okay, when we were little, you were the high yellow golden boy. You were the one that mom and dad, I guess, took in the palm of their hand and held it to the sun like Simba. There wasn't anything that you could not do. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't do any wrong in the family. Everybody else was attacked and told to do chores and blah, blah, blah. For whatever reason, you escaped everything. You know what I'm saying? And you raised Monster to be the exact same person. And Jaylen figured it out. Jaylen sensed it. Jaylen has talked to me about it. And now I'm going to put it on the table. I mean, I love my brother and everything, but you got to, do you see where you went wrong? Okay, basically, now Marceau is calling his brother out. And Maurice doesn't like the shit, not one bit. That's why I said Maurice was getting 1-2 punch too. He was getting 1-2 punch the entire episode. Okay, so Kimmy is sitting beside Maurice and she's doing this a lot. Like, I don't know if the conversation was making her uncomfortable, but she's moving around and she's trying to get involved too. She's trying to let him know, yeah, you know, I had the same conversation with Maurice when Jaylen was growing up. I had the same conversation with Maurice when Jaylen was growing up. And this is where Kimmy reveals, I told Maurice that he was treating Jaylen different. Pow, pow, pow. Again, I'm not saying that these conversations don't happen in real life because they do all the time, but it was a wow moment to see them having it on camera because we've not gotten this from them in a long time. But when he says it, Maurice, again, the wind is knocked out of him. And Tisha is getting her whole fucking life. Oh my God. Tisha just sat back like, bitch, to see that the golden couple, because not only is Maurice the golden child and believes himself, y'all really are the golden couple with not a whole lot given to y'all. So Tisha, more than anybody else, was just like, I love this for y'all. But Kimmy says it. And I'm hoping that they expound on this and that Kimmy talks about why she let this happen. Because, you know, and listen, we're not going to pretend like Kimmy's the only one. People probably can relate to this shit for whatever the reasons. Maybe she thought he was going to change his mind later, or he just needed to, grow into this situation. I don't know, but it went on for too long. It went on for too long. It did. And even though Jaylen is a grown man now, and he seems to be okay, because I do believe what Maurice ends up saying is, once again, I'm not a father figure, or I'm not that type of father. I'm the type of guy who, when something's going wrong, I give direction. Clearly, it's a testament to the fact that Jaylen was raised excellent, is what he says. More shots fired, because you didn't raise Jaylen then. Kimmy raised Jaylen. And truth be told, she probably raised Monster too for the time that they were there, because they were asking you to be more a part of things. But the fact that you had told Kimmy to stay out of it, anything that goes on with Monster, that's between me and Kyle. Well, you ain't got no decision making over this process. And you want us to believe that you only inserted yourself into a situation when you thought something was wrong. Tells us everything we need to know. Kids need direction every second of every minute of every fucking day. Okay? Period. Maurice is a hot ass mess. Maurice's judgment is so annoying. He really could not get the point. He could not get the point at all. At least that's what it looked like. Either that, or his ego is just so inflated. His ego is so inflated that he really would not allow people to just give him an honest truth. An honest truth. Okay? Hold on. The fact that it went too long, kept Maurice thinking he's never wrong. Kimmy, she lets it go too far. But the thing is, this isn't something he's never heard before. He heard it from his own family members. Whoever that lady is, it's Maurice and Marceau's sister. She was working in Maurice's credit one. She said it. Is her name Minnie? It's something with an N, with an M. She already said it. She said, I'm the only one in the family who will work for this man. He's horrible. Okay? He's not going to change. And this is what I'm looking forward to, because in my opinion, I feel like Kimmy was so prickly, sensitive. Millie, you are the best. Thank you. Millie is the one who called Maurice out in the first season. She said that shit. Okay. And I think she said it more than once. And I remember Kimmy saying something about it too. But at the end of the day, it has already been said. And Maurice has really shown bits and pieces of himself throughout these seasons. But the fact that they were all sitting there and Kimmy had, once again, gotten the courage to say on camera, I already had this conversation with you. I told you that you were different to my child. I told you that you were different to my child. But Maurice tries to take more credit. It's a testament that he was raised excellent. And I wish Kimmy would have said, not because of you though. You know what I'm saying? There was things that clearly Maurice and Kimmy were doing that was very different for the children that were living in their house. Kimmy said, this is who I want my son to be. This is how I'm going to raise him. And it's a lot different than what you think is right for Monster. We heard her. When Maurice was like, you need to let him just, pay for nothing, do nothing. Let him take a year where he does nothing at all. She said, that's my son. No. Okay, he's not doing that. Are you out of your effing mind? I'm going to pay for his college. That's his free ride. But everything that he does from now to this point on is him being a grown ass man. Okay. Thank you, Ty. Please hit the like button, y'all. It's free. Please hit the like button. It's free. And nobody knows. It's not a secret. But yeah, that was a good ass moment. Long story short, though, when it was all said and done, Maurice says to Marceau, you're basically lying. In fact, he said, you are a liar. You've lied a lot about many different things. Okay? You're a liar. You lied a lot about many different things. That's when Marceau clasps their hands together like he always do and just looks at you like, you bitch. But he just looked angry. And that's how it ended. It was a cliffhanger. This was actually a good episode, and I'm really looking forward. I hope that Kimmy has to talk about her relationship and what she thinks is going on, because I really think her and Maurice have been trying to figure things out, especially since Kimmy said, I don't know what Maurice does when I don't see him, when he's out of my company, when he's out of my eyesight. Previously, she used to say he would never cheat on me, he would never blah, blah, blah. And then she changed it. So she's doing it nice, nasty, but she's doing it. Kimmy was present, Maurice not so much. Yes, however, Maurice likes to act and put on as if he was. Yes, because if Jaylen becomes, I don't know, the top IT person in the United States, Maurice is going to take credit for that. Okay? And that is the problem. But when you have two children living in the same exact household and the mother said, listen, I am rearing my child this way, not that way. And the father on the other side is saying, and I'm rearing mine this way and not that. That shows there was two distinct set of rules for those children. That was wild. Anyway, that's it. That's all. It was really good. Y'all had a whole lot to say, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see everything. I'm gonna go back up and see if I can see any comments to get me to maybe the 2025 marker. Hold on. Liza Moore Lies said, Jaylen has been telling us this. After the cabin trip, when Maurice talked about moving the ex to Huntsville, the wedding where he said he never seen his mama cry. No, that was at Martell's wine event. He tells Marceau, I've never seen my mama cry before this show, right? And he didn't, I guess she cried at the wedding. Yes, you're right. That was the cabin scene. Yep, you're right. My bad. She starts crying. Maurice kisses Kimmy on the forehead. And Kimmy said, are we done? Just leave me. Because she was sitting there crying silently because that man had made her feel like she wasn't a part of the decision making. That was a effed up day. Child. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You're glad that Jaylen came through. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that he did too. That's what they did to Jaylen when he worked for Black, and he was very clear. He said, "I don't work for Marcel, or excuse me, Maurice anymore. Not Maurice, Marceau anymore. These M names are killing me. I don't work for Marceau anymore. I do IT now. But y'all are a hot ass mess." Kimmy has allowed this man to treat her son any type of way and has caused her to lose her house, embarrassed her. She is the biggest dummy ever. So they were filming in the house. They started filming in December, right? Isn't that the same house, you guys? Because they started filming in December. The rumor that she had lost her house, I thought was last year, like November or October of last year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Why did you see that Maurice was well dressed? Hopefully they were lying, because Maurice was dressed like a clown in this episode. I wonder if Jaylen's trust is still there for his mother, being that she allowed Maurice to mistreat him when he was a minor child. Yeah, I think that it's still there. I mean, listen, we all have shit that we remember from childhood. You know what I'm saying? But I still think that he loves his mama. I think that he cares about his mama. I think that he's, for the most part, a mama's boy. I really do. I just think that he said what he had to say. And that's excellent. I hope that Jaylen moves to Colorado and lives his best life. Yes, I hope that he always gives his mama grace. Because, at the end of the day, people do. What did you say? Maurice doesn't get it. Shame on you, Kimmy. Child, Mary Willis said, absolutely not, under no circumstances. I think so. I feel the same way. I think that they have a bond that's unbreakable. I think that he would do anything for his mama. And I think she would do anything for him. She set him off right. She got him an investment property. She paid for his ride in college. Y'all remember when Kimmy said that she told a story about she was a teenage mom. Her parents basically said, you got to get out. You bred them, you feed them, right? She gave that whole story. She said, I knew that in order to give my son the life he deserved, I had to go be a nurse. She started doing nursing school at night so that she could do what she needed to do in life. Whoever she had the baby by, whoever Jaylen's father is, they used to fight so tough that he took her to court for full custody. Now, I don't know what happened after that because we all know Kimmy went to Huntsville with her baby, right? And she got to keep him for that entire time. We didn't see Jaylen going to his dad ever. She said, I am a true single mama. But whatever they were doing to each other when they were fighting, Kimmy said that her baby daddy tried to take full custody from her just to fuck with her. So that's how crazy that relationship was. And she said that she halfway lost her mind during that whole process. But at the end of it, she was real proud that she figured out something that she could do that was going to take care of her. And she said that that was really being able to pay for Jaylen's ride through college. That was her moment. Because remember, Maurice was like, I need you to quit your job and blah, blah, blah. Just, I'll pay for it. And she said, no, I need to pay for it. I need to know that I did what I said I was going to do when this baby came into the world. Okay. When I gave birth to him, these were the things that I said I was going to do for him. And she saw it all the way out. And I think that's, that's a moment. I mean, when you look at your child and you know what you're going to do for them, you know what I'm saying? That's a moment to see it all the way through. I don't think there's nothing that Jaylen couldn't ask for when it comes to his mom and that he wouldn't help her with. She wouldn't help him with. She even warned him about working for Maurice. I mean, no, Marcel, my bad. She even warned him about working for Marcel. Maurice is a piss poor daddy to both of the kids. I'm hoping that Monster goes to college and comes back and tells us how he feels. Y'all remember when Monster saw Kiowa? They called Kiowa in because Monster got in trouble at school, and how he hugged his mama. He was so happy to see her. And they was rocking, and Maurice was like, that's my problem right there. Maurice doesn't like for that boy to show any human emotion. Kimmy told him several times that people need to stop making it seem like he was beating his son, and she stayed and did nothing like most of these women out here. Make sure you put the capital M on most. I mean, it's a real life story. People, you fall in love with people, you hope that they change. Sometimes they don't. Look at Tyler Perry. He doesn't blame his mama for shit. And she used to watch him damn near get his eyes beat out of his head. I also think that he praised Kimmy raising Jaylen, then talked about it in the last scene. He didn't praise Kimmy. He said that Jaylen was raised excellent. It was almost like he was taking credit for it. Almost, right? Anyway, that's it. That's all, y'all. It was a great episode. It was better than I could have expected. It was definitely a 10 out of 10. Kimmy just wanted to keep a man by any means necessary, even if it meant Jaylen accepting mistreatment from her husband. I hope Kimmy stays off of social media, don't y'all? I just want them to stay off social media so that they can be their real selves on the show, because when they start watching comments and stuff, they literally end up changing. And I don't like that. I need everybody to stay exactly where they are. She stood up for her son. Who stood up for her son? She stood up for her son. She ain't sat back and just let him be mistreated. She just said she told him that I think that I agree. I don't think that it was just a bunch of mistreatment, but I do think that, I think Maurice's personality is, he's an asshole. Okay. Marceau is an asshole too, but Marceau knows a right from wrong and how to get things done. But when you say, listen, when you say to a man that raised you, quote fingers, that your brother was more of a father to me than you, bitch, good night. Okay. When you say that your brother was more of a father to me than you, and let's just hope that when they start having family dinners and vacation, if he came in and was like, hey dad, pissed Tisha off and Maurice off at the same time, that shit was funny. Anyway, someone gave a super chat or something. Thank you. Let me see what the name is. Barry Nisha, thank you for blessing the channel. I appreciate you. That's some hard words to hear, child. But that's it, y'all. I appreciate every single one of you who came over to rock with me. Okay. That was episode 3. We got one more episode, or one more shit. I'm sorry, y'all. I have a sinus infection. I took medication today. It has made me loopy, and I can tell. I have been saying everything wrong, and I apologize. Just so y'all know, sinus medication right before you do a review is the wrong thing to do. But sorry about that. But anyway, thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank you to my moderators and things. And who else? Hit the like button, share the video, please, and thank you. Follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY 444. That's right. Thank you. Spread the word. This was a great review, okay? Spread the word. This was a great review. I will check every single one of y'all on the next one.